Dr. Amelia Roberts believed she had everything a woman could ask for. She was a respected doctor at one of the top hospitals in the city and the wife of a man she adored. Her marriage to Sean had lasted for over a decade, and even after all those years, she still felt a rush of warmth whenever she saw him. They had a son, Ethan, who was in high school. Life seemed almost perfect, but that illusion began to crack one morning. Amelia was doing the laundry when she picked up Sean's shirt from the basket, and something unusual caught her attention. Stuck on the fabric was a long strand of hair. Amelia paused, holding it between her fingers. The hair was light brown and long, far longer than her own. She turned the shirt over in her hands, looking for an explanation, but none came. She tried to brush it off, telling herself it could have been anyone's hair, but her mind quickly went back to what had happened the day before. When Sean returned from his business trip, she had been unpacking his suitcase and found a chapstick in the pocket of his trousers. It was bright red, the kind usually marketed to women. She had teased him about it, but Sean had simply laughed and explained that the air where he traveled was very dry. He said he had picked up the first chapstick he saw at a store. At the time, Amelia believed him, thinking maybe he was careless about such things. But now with this long strand of hair in her hand, she began to feel uneasy. Later that afternoon, Amelia drove to Ethan's school to pick him up, and as she stood by her car, a woman with long hair approached her with a smile. "Hello, you must be Mrs. Roberts," the woman said cheerfully. "I'm Deborah Morgan. I just started working as your husband's secretary. I'm sure Sean has told you about me." Amelia's smile faltered for just a second before she recovered. Sean had never mentioned anything about a new secretary. Deborah went on to explain that she was recently divorced and had a daughter in the same class as Ethan. She said Sean had offered her the job to help her get back on her feet. Amelia listened, nodding, but her thoughts were fixed on one detail. Claire had long hair, the same length and color as the strand she had found that morning. Then Claire added another piece of information that made Amelia's chest tighten. "Your husband is so kind," she said. "He always leaves the office by 5. That gives me time to leave and pick up my daughter." Amelia froze. Sean often didn't get home until 7 in the evening. If he left work at 5, where was he spending those extra 2 hours? For the first time in her marriage, she wondered if Sean was hiding something from her. She wanted to believe in him, to trust the man she had built her life with, but the small details no longer made sense. The next day at work, Amelia found it hard to focus. Normally, her hours at the hospital passed quickly, filled with patients and medical cases, but her mind kept drifting back to Sean. The memory of Claire's smile, her long hair and the casual way she had mentioned Sean leaving work by 5 refused to leave Amelia's thoughts. She tried to convince herself that there had to be an explanation. Maybe he was meeting with clients on his way home. Yet, the uneasiness refused to go away. By evening, her doubts had grown into something she could no longer ignore, and she decided she needed answers. She had to find out where he really went after work. 2 days later, she put her plan into action. Amelia left the hospital earlier than usual, telling her colleagues she was not feeling well. Instead of going home, she parked her car across the street from Sean's office and waited. Eventually she saw him emerge and she felt her heart race as he walked to his car. Amelia started her engine and kept a safe distance, trailing him through the streets. Her grip on the steering wheel tightened. Where was he really going? Sean parked in front of a small bakery. Through her windshield, she saw him step out of the car and head toward the store. That was when she noticed something else. Near the entrance, a young woman was in a heated argument with a man. The man's voice was raised, and before Amelia could fully process what was happening, he grabbed the girl's arm and shoved her hard against the wall of the shop. The girl cried out, struggling to push him away. Then her eyes darted toward Amelia's car, and she called out, "Please help me." Amelia's heart skipped a beat when recognition hit her. She knew this girl. It was the same patient who often came to the hospital asking for tranquilizers, but Amelia always refused because she suspected the girl was misusing them. For a moment, Amelia's instincts screamed at her to intervene. She could get out and stop this. But just as quickly, her eyes shifted back to Sean, now pulling open the bakery door with a box in one hand and a bouquet of flowers in the other. Flowers? Cake? Was he meeting someone? If she stopped to intervene, she might lose sight of him, and this could be her only chance to learn the truth about where he spent his evenings. He returned to his car and drove away, and Amelia pushed down her conscience and focused on following Sean. After another 15 minutes, his car pulled into the parking lot of a nursing home. She had recognized it. His mother had been staying there for a while, and though Amelia had visited a few times, she hadn't gone often. She decided to go in to see her too. She walked through the halls and soon saw him step into his mother's room. Sean greeted his mother warmly, placing the flowers on her bedside table and setting the cake carefully on a tray. Amelia stayed back, watching quietly as he leaned close, speaking softly to her. After a few minutes, Sean stepped out of the room and found Amelia waiting. His expression shifted from surprise to ease, as though he was glad to see her. "Amelia," he said with a small smile, "I didn't expect you here." She tried to keep her voice calm. "I was in the area. Thought I'd check in." He nodded, glancing back at his mother's door. "I come here every day after work," he explained quickly. "She depends on me, and I don't want her to feel alone." Hearing that, Amelia's felt guilty for ever doubting him. She had been so ready to believe something was wrong, yet here he was, showing responsibility toward his mother. She smiled gently before stepping aside to let him return to his mother. Amelia stayed in the hall for a moment, then walked over to the front desk. She asked the nurse politely about her mother-in-law's condition, wanting to stay updated on her health. The nurse gave her a kind smile. "She hasn't been doing very well. Her appetite is poor, and lately she's been having trouble sleeping, so we've had to give her sleeping pills. She always says she misses her son. That seems to be the main reason her health hasn't improved." "She misses her son?" she repeated softly. "Yes," the nurse nodded. "It's been hard for her. He hasn't visited in nearly a year. She talks about him all the time." She stood there for a moment, unable to respond. If the nurse was telling the truth, that means Sean had lied. Amelia left the desk quietly, her mind racing. If he wasn't really spending those evenings here, then where was he going? She had no answers, only a growing fear that she was standing on the edge of a truth she might not be ready to face. And improved. That evening, when they both returned from the nursing home, Sean mentioned a party, saying it was important for his work. Richard Grant, a wealthy businessman with strong city connections, was hosting it. He stressed that he had to attend since many influential people who could advance his career would be there. Amelia listened carefully, noticing how restless he became while talking about it. She knew Richard's wife, Evelyn, who was one of her patients, and decided she would go as well. When the evening for the party came, they arrived together at Richard's large home. Before they walked in, Sean leaned toward her and said quietly, "Just don't do anything stupid in there, all right? I don't want to be embarrassed tonight." Amelia glanced at him, taken aback, but said nothing. She simply adjusted her dress and followed him inside. From the start, she noticed Sean struggling. He moved stiffly among the groups, offering greetings that were quickly dismissed as though he had not spoken at all. He stood awkwardly at the edge of each circle, clearly unsure how to break in. Amelia watched for a few moments before deciding to step in. She approached Evelyn, Richard Grant's wife, who brightened at once when she saw her. "Amelia. What a surprise," Evelyn said warmly. "I didn't know you were coming tonight." "Well, Sean insisted on coming, and I thought I'd join him." Amelia replied with a smile. "It's good to see you, Evelyn." Evelyn touched her arm. "This woman is a wonderful doctor," she said to the small group around her. "She's been such a help to me. I don't know what I'd do without her." Amelia gave a modest nod, but her eyes shifted to Sean, who stood a little behind her, still silent. She turned to Evelyn and asked, "Would you mind introducing us to your husband? Sean has been hoping to meet him." Evelyn smiled. "Of course. Come with me." They crossed the room to where Richard Grant stood speaking with two other men. Evelyn touched his arm. "Richard, this is my doctor, Amelia. And her husband, Sean." Richard shook Amelia's hand politely, then turned to Sean with a nod. He seemed ready to dismiss him with the same politeness others had shown, but Amelia quickly added, "Richard, my husband has been very eager to discuss business with you. I hope you'll give him a listening ear. I know he values your experience greatly." Richard paused, studying Sean for a moment, then gave a small smile. "Well, in that case, I suppose we should talk. Come walk with me." Sean's face lit up with relief as Richard guided him away, and Amelia felt a quiet satisfaction. As the night went on, Amelia excused herself from one of the circles and wandered near the serving tables. That was when she noticed a familiar face. Lena, the young woman Amelia had seen being assaulted the other day. But now she wore the uniform of a waitress, carrying a tray of glasses. Her eyes met Amelia's for only a moment before she looked down quickly, as if embarrassed. "Lena," Amelia said softly, stepping closer. The girl hesitated, then gave a small nod. Up close, Amelia could see faint bruises hidden under makeup. "Are you all right?" Lena shifted uncomfortably. "I'm fine," she whispered. "I saw what happened that day. Who was that man?" Amelia pressed, lowering her voice so no one else could hear. Lena hesitated, her eyes darting away. "My boyfriend." Amelia's heart ached. She wished she had been able to help. "I'm sorry I didn't step in," she said quietly. But Lena shook her head. "It's okay if you didn't. It wasn't your business anyway. No one should treat you that way." Amelia spoke to her with a frown. "You can do better than him. You need to leave him." Lena looked down at the tray in her hands. "Maybe. But it's not that easy." Amelia wanted to say more, but another guest called Lena over, and the girl hurried away. Amelia stood there, troubled. Later that evening, Amelia was still in conversation with Evelyn, who seemed to enjoy her company. After a while, Evelyn called over her daughter, Claire, and introduced her. Claire greeted Amelia politely, and Amelia responded with the same warmth. They exchanged a few more words before Claire excused herself. Left alone with Evelyn again, Amelia decided to extend an invitation. She told her about the small gathering planned for her husband's birthday and asked if she could come. Evelyn agreed with a smile, clearly pleased by the invitation. Amelia waited a week before going to Lena's apartment. Her relationship was breaking her down, but Amelia also knew she was street smart and quick on her feet. That was exactly why Amelia thought she was the right person for what she needed. After a short greeting, Amelia went straight to the point. She told her she suspected Sean was seeing another woman and needed someone to follow him quietly. Amelia offered her money, knowing Lena could use it. She also added something else, the prescription pills Lena had often asked her for. With that, Lena agreed to help. The next day at work, Amelia tried to focus, but her hands shook as she put her phone down on the desk. It was Sean's birthday, and she should have been busy finalizing the cake and decorations for the evening. Instead, her thoughts stayed on Lena. Amelia hated that it had come to this, but she also knew it was the only way to get answers. She wasn't sure what Lena would discover, though deep down she feared she already knew. A few hours later, her phone buzzed with a message. "He's been inside a hotel for a few hours now." Amelia sat frozen, her mind racing as she read the message again and again. Her fingers hovered over the screen, unable to type. Before she could type a reply, the phone rang. Lena was calling. "He just came out," Lena's voice rushed through the line. "There's a woman with him, long brown hair, dressed nice. They look close." Amelia's throat went dry. "Take a picture," she whispered, gripping the phone harder. "I want to see her face. Please." Lena promised to try, and then the call ended abruptly. She raised her phone, but before she could take the picture, the woman slipped into a car and drove off. Lena lowered the phone, frustrated, then snapped a quick shot of the license plate instead. A few minutes later, Amelia's phone buzzed again. This time it was a photo of the plate number. Along with it came Lena's message, "This is the only thing I could get." She was already driving away. "By the way, I think Sean is hiding something in his car trunk. You should check it." Amelia soon left work and picked up the cake for Sean's birthday. From there, she drove straight to the event center. As soon as she parked and stepped out, Sean was already walking toward her. He noticed the cake in her hands and reached for it at once. "I'll take this inside," he said with a sweet smile. Amelia nodded. "Okay, but I need your car keys. I couldn't find the family camera in my car. Maybe it's in yours." Without hesitation, Sean handed her the car keys. "Don't take long." As he walked off with the cake, Amelia closed her hand tightly around the keys. Her heart was beating faster than she wanted to admit. She turned away from the crowd and walked toward his car, opened the trunk and looked inside. At first, nothing seemed unusual. She checked quickly and closed it, then went to the front seats, searching the glove box and the floor areas. Nothing. Something about Lena's message pushed her to check again. She went back to the trunk and looked more carefully. The base of the trunk seemed too smooth, so she bent down and felt along the bottom until her hand touched a rug that blended in with the rest of the trunk. Pulling it up, she saw a hidden compartment. Inside was a school bag. She dragged it out, unzipped it, and emptied the contents onto the trunk floor. Out fell a strip of condoms, a pair of men's boxers, and a phone. Amelia froze. The sound of laughter and music from the party reached her faintly, but in that moment, all she could hear was her own heartbeat. Her fingers shook as she picked up the phone and pressed the power button. The phone came alive with a screensaver, a smiling face she recognized immediately. Claire. Evelyn's daughter. Amelia stopped cold. For a moment, she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her. But no. It was her. Claire. Her body began to shake. She gripped the phone tighter, staring at the screen, unable to breathe. Why would Claire be on Sean's phone? Her stomach turned as she swiped up and opened the gallery. Dozens of photos spilled out, Sean and Claire together. Hugging. Kissing. Traveling. Hotel rooms. Beaches. Pictures and memories from another life, but one he had built behind her back. Amelia's hand was still shaking as she scrolled further. That was when she noticed the messages. One name made her freeze. Melissa, her best friend and colleague. She opened the thread, her breath catching. The first thing she saw was a message from the same day Sean had gone to the nursing home. She left in a hurry today, Melissa had written. You should be careful. She has been talking to me about her suspicions. I think she's about to trail you. Amelia couldn't believe what she was reading. Melissa. The same friend she had trusted with her worries. The same friend she had leaned on for advice, had been feeding Sean everything. Her hand covered her mouth, holding back the scream fighting to escape. Everything was perfect, she thought numbly, her eyes still fixed on the glowing screen. Everyone around me was doing a perfect job of deceiving me. Amelia shut the phone and put everything back the way she found it. Her hands were trembling, but she forced herself to steady them. She fixed her face in the mirror of the car window, taking a deep breath before walking toward the party. Inside, Sean was smiling as if nothing in the world was wrong. Every word she had read, every picture she had seen, pressed into her like a knife. So she made a vow in her heart. Sean would suffer. She would make sure he felt an ache as sharp and as heavy as the one now tearing through her.